Igbo must not allow Soludo get away with embarrassing attack on Peter Obi, ex-minister Osuji. As the reactions continue to trail, a lengthy statement written by Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo attacking the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, former Minister of Education, Professor Fabian Osuji, has called on him to withdraw the statement or be punished by the entire Igbo nation. Osuji stated this in a statement he sent to the Whistler on Tuesday morning. The former minister, who is on holiday in the U.S., said it was embarrassing that the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who benefited from the Igbo Brotherhood, could turn against one of them in his quest to be a president of Nigeria. Recall Soludo had appeared on Channels TV days ago where he criticized the investment Obi made when he was governor of Anambra State, stating it is worthless today. That interview irked not a few Obi supporters who criticized him for coming out to speak as if the investment was worthless in real terms, bearing in mind Obi has been out of government for long. That prompted another response from Soludo on Sunday via a press statement where he said Anambra people will not vote for Obi of the Labour Party. Not done yet. The governor released a lengthy letter on Monday where he said he will not be cowed not to speak my mind, adding pessimistically that Obi knows it that he cannot win the presidential election. The governor described the Labour Party in derogatory terms, saying it's less than its All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, and that only two parties would be contesting the 2023 presidential election, which the Labour Party would not be won. Osuji weighed in on the matter, saying that I am thoroughly embarrassed about the level of hostility being exhibited by our brother and friend, Professor Charles Soludo, towards Peter Obi. He cannot claim to be self-made. People like us participated in making him. I was pro-chancellor and chairman of council at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Enugu, when his papers came for approval for professorship. I could have found reason to withhold or deny assent, but we put him out and praised his work. That made President Obasanjo appoint him economic advisor without hesitation. He explained that 3 years later, after Soludo had emerged as professor, 3 of them, including Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, then Minister of Finance, Obi Ezekwesili, Special Assistant to President Olusegun Obasanjo on budget monitoring, and he, who was Minister of Education, were attending a conference in Brussels when President Obasanjo called Okonjo-Iweala to ask for the nomination of Governor of Central Bank. We gave an unanimous vote for Professor Charles Soludo, Minister of Finance, Education, and Due Process, he said. He explained that as Igbo, we were proud to support our brother. He was not the sole candidate, but that Obasanjo gave him the position. He stressed that everyone rejoiced. That was the power of Omona, brothers, that's brotherhood. So he, however, lamented that years later, I cannot imagine the same person who benefited resoundingly from the support of Omona being the one to pull down his own brother who is enjoying overwhelming support elsewhere. I am truly ashamed of him. Ndigbo should not allow him to get away with this. He should be made to withdraw all his damaging statements against Obi. there is still time for him to reverse himself in this matter. Ndigbo must not allow him to get away with this, Osuji stated. Wow. Can you imagine? Soludo. Can you imagine? So Professor Osuji is saying here that Soludo is not in place to antagonize and pull Obi down. All right, that even Soludo himself were also benefited from Omunna support. You can imagine that he's on two occasions now. One was that when his paper came for him to be a professor, that he was himself, Osuji, was a member of the team that were to approve his paper, and he would have had reason to say no at that time, and probably Charles Soludo wouldn't have been a professor by now. Can you imagine? Secondly, it was same during Obasanjo government when they were going to Brussels for a meeting. All right, after Okonjo-Iweala and Ezekwesili Obe have been made ministers, that Obasanjo called Okonjo-Iweala to nominate a governor of Central Bank, and immediately they had to put Soludo's name again. That's 3 years after he was made a professor, and now, so that was how he became the governor of Central Bank. So it was this same Igbo people that helped him to become who he is. Now it is time for another Igbo person to be supported. He is the person pulling the Igbo person, not just ordinary Igbo person, from the same state with him, from the same familyhood with him. Why would Soludo be doing that? All right. So that is what Osuji is saying, that he should withdraw all that he has said about Peter Obi, and Indigbo should not allow him to go away with all of these things he's doing against Peter Obi, because it will not be acceptable. So Soludo has actually not proven why he's pulling Obi down. The truth here is that he has eye for presidency, and he is jealous that somebody from his own kindred is going to that presidency before him. He wants to be the first person to be there. Oh, power of jealousy, power of ego. Oh, wow. So there are comments here. Someone is saying your advice is dead on arrival. Abga has their own presidential candidate. So we're not playing party politics rather than identify the right person that should be there. If you compare Peter Obi of Labour Party and that presidential candidate in Abga, who is better and who should be supported? That should be the question, not party politics at this time. Why don't he promote his so-called Abga candidate and leave Peter Obi alone? Why is he not attacking Tinutif and Atiku? Why Peter Obi? But time shall tell, you see? Yeah, so if you have somebody in Abga, you should go and promote the person now and leave Peter Obi alone to survive on his own. If he doesn't even need to support somebody, don't support somebody and don't put the person down at the same time. So Soludo should go and support his Abga person and not make it derogatory statements against Peter Obi. Even at that, he should campaign for his Abga and stop attacking Peter Obi jealously. Stop attacking Peter Obi jealously, all right? Jealousy is a disease that will consume some people, and that is exactly what it is. This Osuji confirms that many Igbo men are thoughtless, extremely unwise, and often acting too spontaneously without deep thinking. That's why the enemies of Igbos and Southeast use this self-conceited and pride to easily instigate divisions and sabotage. See, because they're always sabotaging themselves. All right? You ended up not making sense. That's what another person is saying. All right. So somebody is saying this your advice should go to Soludo, who is attacking Peter Obi, no reason, and telling lies at that too. Soludo is a disgrace to Igbo race, madman, worse than Uzodinma of Imo State. That is what it's proving. And that is why it's getting a lot of bash now. The ESN there now is saying that they will even drive him from office. Atiku and Buhari and Fulani tribe are beating the drum. They are not comfortable with Peter Obi's popularity. Okay, so it means that what Soludo is doing is the dictate from the Atiku Buhari group. They have paid him to do what he's doing. So this is what Professor Osuji is saying, that this man must not go away with what he's doing about Peter Obi. Fabian Osuji actually was one time Minister of Education in this country. So thank you for listening. He has narrated how Soludo was made, and that another person is to be made again. He should not pull the person down because he benefited from the support of his Igbo people as well. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment on this matter.